Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's doing well. Uh, how's the YouTube Miftah family doing? You guys are good. Sister Safiya, I see Sister Asiya and Sister Khadija, and some of the sisters and brothers from all over the world. May Allah bless you all. Sheikh Abdullah will be on any minute. Sheikh Abdullah made sure that I changed my background in my mom's house. He went and he said he bought a couple of he bought this little tree over here, and he made sure I keep in my back. He said you have to keep this. He bought this a couple of days ago, and he saw me yesterday, and he did not like my blurry look. And I said, all right, it's fine, man, it's all good. So Bajan is always making sure everything is good. And he bought it for it was not a cheap tree, man. And I'm sure he's not gonna water it or anything. It's gonna get messed up after a few days, but it's all good. How's everyone doing? Everyone's doing good. I don't know why today the Miftah live was scheduled for 7:10. I think it's something that we do throughout the year. Throughout the month from like last year's, we would change the time from like 7:30 to 7:45, based on the timing of iftar. I think, but 7 o'clock every day is good for this year. We'll keep it consistent, and then we'll take some votes next year. I that one time I came on after Taraweeh with Sheikh Abdullah, that was beautiful. I loved that time after Taraweeh. No stress of eating. Give the brothers and sisters enough time to prepare for their iftar. Assalamu alaikum, Bajan.
Wa salam to Allah barakatuh, Mufti Sahib. How are you doing?
How you doing, Bajan?
Alhamdulillah. What's going on?
Everything is good. Everything is good. Alhamdulillah. You good? You like my background better now?
You look good. Yes, you look excellent. How was yesterday? You and Mufti Abdul Wahab. I missed out. I did watch you guys a little bit. Then I had a commitment yesterday. I apologize. Really, Al Ikhlas Academy, which is in Detroit, they're doing some great work. They're inner city school. So whenever we have an opportunity to support them, represent them, it's definitely a rewarding feeling.
You know,
Um, but
that's a beautiful thing, Bajan. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us a platform, a small platform that we have. You're like a popular figure, and so you know.
Again, you try to be funny and you're not funny. That's my only problem with you. Like, mashallah, you're such a great scholar. Allah gave you so much talent, such good looks, Arabic, Urdu, Persian, English, and there's some things that God didn't give you, and that is you're not a humorous person.
That's not true, Bajan.
You're not.
All right, man. I'll take that. I'll take that.
And it's very important for people to know who they are. खुदी को समझो. You know,
You're trying to say,
that's
oh,
exactly. That's not who I am. I don't know this Urdu stuff, but I just understand yourself. Man arafa nafsa arafa rabba.
there you go. There you go. That's better. That's better.
Yeah, I can say the Arabic.
Bajan, well, everyone's good, man. Everyone, it was good. It was good yesterday. We missed you. Mufti Abdul was tired, but guess what? Mufti Abdul was back, man.
Oh my gosh, mashallah. I saw him sleeping finally, you know,
Alhamdulillah.
and he needs rest. And inshallah, he recovers well. He was gone for a good 12 days, 10 days, maybe longer. His wife is in Australia with their baby son, Abdul Rahim, Hafidahullah. Allah protect the child. And so we're happy he's back. We're happy we have the last 10 days of Ramadan are starting. You're going to go into i'tikaf. And all you guys are doing great work. It's only me, I feel like I'm missing out the opportunity. MashaAllah, you guys are serving Islam at high level, high capacity, high volume,
No,
high
no, but
altitude.
no, you guys, you're good. You're good. He
Go
was.
ahead.
He was.
Let's go ahead. Mufti Abdul not relevant right now. Let's go to 20th juz.
He is relevant. We just want to let everyone know he was here yesterday. People were happy he was on, and it was good. But then, are you
He
guys
was
doing?
on like this. This is how he was on. He was like half asleep. It was like
Does it
as soon as I joined.
does this count as backbiting?
No, he would actually appreciate that joke.
Oh man, he's probably watching, so it's not backbiting. But maybe it's like breaking his heart. No, he was pretty fresh yesterday. But then,
Look, it's-
yo, I'm gonna make sure I never miss a day with you because I'm not sure what you're gonna say behind my back. I'm not gonna miss a day.
You don't miss a day. Even when you leave for like 5 minutes is an opportunity for me to like say good things about you.
But let's get right into it. 20th juz.
Go ahead.
Can I ask you something before we start? So
Mm,
we're doing itikaf, but you and
mm,
Sheikh Abdul Wahab and Sheikh Masmari, you guys gonna be doing something live every single night?
mhm.
Is that
It's
gonna
gonna
come
be
on?
on the Miftah, it's gonna be on the Miftah channel. It's gonna be like a panel between Sheikh Masmari, myself, Mufti Abdul Wahab, sometimes some guest speakers, and we're talking about the final moments. I think it starts around 12:30 in the last 10 nights, and we're excited about it. It's going to be done at live at the Ummah Center where Sheikh Masmari is leading Taraweeh there. Beautiful place. And may Allah bless Sheikh Masmari for the work that he's done and the work that he's doing with the youth, especially. When I went there, it was like 400 or 500 youth there for Taraweeh, mashallah.
MashaAllah.
Even the older people think they're youth over there, mashallah. When you hang around with so many youth, you get energized. That's how it was at the Ummah, mashallah.
MashaAllah. So, because people were asking about Sheikh Masmani, and Sheikh Masmani, the year that we had it was during COVID, he wasn't doing Taraweeh in the masjid, so he had time to come on live more. So people are missing him. So inshallah, you get to see him in the last 10 nights.
Wallah, I miss him so much. And may Allah protect him, may Allah preserve him, his family. He's such a great asset to our Michigan community, to the American community,
Absolutely.
and we're indebted to him.
Alhamdulillah. But all right, let's get into the 20th juz. Ready?
I'm ready. I'm looking at the 20th juz right now. Um, so Surah Qasas and Surah An-Naml. Where are you going to start off from, Mufti Sab?
We spoke about Surah Naml yesterday a little bit. Mufti Bahar brought it up. Let me open my Quran as well as we start. I want to like Surah. We know that in Surah Qasas, a big portion of Surah Qasas has the story of Musa alayhi salam and him going out of like him initially in the palace of Fir'aun, then leaving and then coming back. So it's a very like detailed story of that, and we know Musa alayhi salam stories mentioned a lot in the Quran. Then you have at the end of Surah Qasas, then you have the story. So you have like a role model in the form of Musa alayhi salam, and you have the anti role model in the form of Fir'aun and Qarun. So you have something about them. Then Ankabut starts with a powerful verse, and that relates to Surah Qasas, and it moves forward, and then it ends with the story of Lut alayhi salam. So let's speak about a few things. Let's start with one. So as I was reading this, as I was reading Surah Qasas, you have this Musa alayhi salam. When you have no resources, you have no power, nothing to do. You can't fight the regime. You can't fight the establishment. Which is Fir'aun at that time, and so now he has to leave. He was born and raised in the palace of Fir'aun, and from that, like from the story of Musa, there's so many different lessons to be taken. But initially, it's the first one is like the mother of Musa Islam put Musa in this box, and put him in the water and put all her trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raised Musa alayhi salam in the palace of Fir'aun, the same person who thought and he was thinking about killing this person who was going to be a prophet of Allah. So Allah raised him over there. This is from the effects of trusting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and from the effects of the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nonetheless, he moves forward in his life, and the incident happens with the incident happens with one person where he slaps him and he dies, and next thing you know, the other person is like, "Oh, you do the same thing to me." And so when you think of Musa alayhi salam as strong man, and he leaves. So now 7 days he travels. For 7 days, no food, nothing. He's traveling for 7 days, and he gets to this place in Madian.
This is my favorite part of Musa Islam's story.
Yeah, before he leaves, like subhanallah, like before he leaves this palace of Fir'aun, like he makes dua, "Oh Allah, guide me to the right path, the sawa as-sabil. Guide me to the sawa, that's straight, like meaning the shortest distance, the most efficient path to
عسى ربي أن يهديني سواء السبيل.
exactly yahdini sawa as-sabil." So we look at it now, the distance from the place where he left to Madian was the shortest distance. He had no
Verse number 22 and chapter number 28.
perfect. Jazakallah in Surah Qasas. So that's the effect of the dua, that he gets there, most efficient direction, the shortest distance, and he gets there. When he gets there, he sees وَلَمَّا وَرَدَ مَاءَ مَدْيَنَ, right? When he gets to this place,
What happens when he gets there?
so he sees what was happening over there was different tribes where they had their own time to get water from the well. So what was happening over there was it takes about 10 people to lift the lid off of the well. So one tribe would come, they would lift the lid off the well, they would take water, let their animals drink from it, and then they would put they had no heart. They would literally put the lid back on the well, and the next group of people will come, take the lid off the well, and so he's seeing this,
The
commotion.
pathetic people like that in the
Yeah,
world. Just
exactly. He sees this happening
um,
over there, and then he sees
these
now.
people, these type of people, gonna get punched by Musa alayhi salam.
Not
Go
by
ahead.
you, not by you, huh?
Not by Musa alayhi salam.
All right, so I'm opening the verses. If you have the verses in front of you, so we can look at it as we're
Which one? Which one? I have it right in front of me.
Bismillah. So he sees walamma warada. It's verse number 23. So he
Yeah.
sees this وجد عليه أمة من الناس يسقون ووجد من دونهم امرأتين تذودان, and then he sees these two sisters, in the back hiding, and he says قال ما خطبكم, what's your issue? He says they said لا نسقي حتى يستر الرعاء. They say we cannot go there and get any water until this entire group of people get their water. All right. Well, Abuna Shaykhun Kabir, and the reason why we're out here and the men folk are not out here is because we have no brothers, no children, and our father, who's the male figure in the family, is old and he can't come.
Yeah.
SubhanAllah, look, he's coming in this long journey, 7 days. He couldn't eat no food, he didn't drink anything, he had dates and some water. He's tired. It would have been convenient for him not to help them. And if
Yeah.
he never helped them in that moment, nobody would have questioned him.
Everybody has that victim spirit, like, oh, it's me, I need people, someone needs to help me.
Someone needs to help me.
Yeah.
So check this out.
Why should I? Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I need help. Why should I help anybody else?
Right,
You see what I'm saying? Like, so you in this moment, right? Musa, the first lesson from this is Musa alayhi salam, he in that moment of where he needs help, he still finds a way to help somebody else.
Amazing.
Right? And remember, if you need help from Allah, we spoke about this before. Wallahu fi abdi ma kana abdu fi auni akhi. So it's proportionate to how much you're helping others. So he doesn't make that an excuse. I'm going through problems. I'm going through pain. But then, like, for example, in our community, we were going through pain. We lost a loved one, our brother. But if someone else in our community is going through the same pain, we're not excused not to give them comfort. Like,
I do have to make a disclaimer here, but just from the mental health aspect, I'm a psychologist, psychology.
Ideologist, psychologist, marriage therapist.
Don't get me started. All the ologies will come out.
Okay.
But the thing is, to heal someone, to help someone emotionally or heal someone, you also need a good sense of healing yourself. And so Musa alayhi salam, either he was a very strong personality, mentally, emotionally, and he could overcome the difficulties that he was going through and depression that he went through and the things that he saw.
Right.
So I remember when Abdul Rahman rahmatullah passed away, there were at least like 5-7 marriage divorce cases that I wasn't really helping. I was just listening to them, like trying to negotiate for of course the person who's abused and help the family. Nobody wants to see a family be torn apart, right? So now when these difficulties happen to families, loss in family, death, tragedies, I personally myself, I was unavailable emotionally. I was unavailable mentally. I was unavailable. So it's very difficult, when someone is going through difficulty, that they seek help. Sometimes even the leaders and our mothers, fathers, teachers, scholars, who are the ones who are providing care for others, they need to seek often care, from them. They need to take care of themselves. Like I met a sheikh yesterday. He wasn't doing well, and I said to him, Sheikh, you need to do well, because if you're not doing well physically, emotionally, mentally, there's a large community that's not going to be able to benefit from you. So Musa alayhi salam is doing, though, he is suffering, but he's well enough that he can help others.
Yeah.
So we need to take care of ourselves, and Allah will take care of us too. And then we help others, and Allah will help us even more. Go ahead. Sorry.
Amazing. Perfect. You mentioned that. So then he basically, one man, instead of 10 people taking the lid off, he's strong enough. He has that strength. He takes, instead of 10 people taking the lid off, he removes the lid himself, gives him the water, and in his heart, he's not expecting anything. Right? He's not expecting anything from anybody else. He's not expecting them to say thank you or appreciate. He just does this. He does his job. That's his job. It was his duty, his responsibility at that point. And then he goes, and this is the conclusion of the story. Then he goes and he takes shade under a tree. Now, look at, how people always say, like, how do I make my dua better? It's
Mhm.
what you do before your dua that makes your dua better.
Wow.
Okay.
Mufti Sahib, you hit it on the head.
Okay.
Hit the nail on the head.
So it's not just about like walking into the dua. It's what you do that, like, look what Musa Islam just did. 7 days of traveling, no food, no drink, then getting there, and then in that moment helping these two people, even though he could have just conveniently sat down and drank his own water. And in that moment,
Yeah.
when he did all that and he was tired, he makes a dua. So
Yeah.
it's not just the words. Of course, the words are prophetic, right? So the words
Yeah.
have, and they're also Quranic. So the words itself have a barakah, but
Yeah.
it's the lead up to that that you
It's
get.
the subhanAllah, like even the dua of the three people that were stuck in the cave, they used their good deeds to help them out of that difficulty.
Exactly.
Like,
And
go ahead.
no, but you see, the difference is that they used their good deeds. Over here, he didn't use his good deeds because his life was a good deed.
Wow.
They had that one good deed that they were leaning on, right? But this man, the Musa alayhi salam, like his entire life was just an act of goodness, you know. And so basically, he didn't have to use any of his good deeds. He just says, "Rabbi inni lima anzalta ilayya min khairin faqir."
Yeah.
Rabbi inni lima anzalta ilayya min
Can you
khairin.
explain that dua?
Yeah, I mean, it's just 8 words, right? It's 8 words, but so powerful. Rabbi inni. So at this, he says, Rabbi, oh Allah, my Lord, inni, verily I am lima anzalta ilayya, whatever you can send down towards me, min khair, of goodness, you know. And we know goodness can mean so many different things. Like,
Yeah.
you know, khair can mean
Wealth.
money. Khair can, like, for example, it could also be food. It could be wealth. It could be strength. Khairun am
Just
qawm.
opportunity. Just
It could
opportunity.
be opportunity. It could be opportunity of good deeds. It could be everything. So
Hmm.
just one word, it basically summarizes all goodness, right? So he says, "Oh Allah, I'm I'm in need, and I am dependent and needy of any khair that you have in your treasures to send my way." Why? Because if he asked for food, he was hungry. If he asked for food, how about if he got food but in a prison?
Yeah.
If he asked for shelter, how about if he got shelter with people who were even more hungry and they were escaping something else? Like, he didn't ask for any of that. He just said, "Oh Allah, give me whatever good you have. I'm in need of that." Right. So the words are very simple, but the acts that are done before. So we learn from this is like, you don't have to literally have you don't have to tell someone, make dua for me, make dua for me. You, if you feed somebody, their stomach will make dua for you, literally. Right? Like, if
Yeah.
you take
You
care
said,
of
like you said, you serve your mother. There's a difference between asking your mom for dua, and there's a difference between she making dua for you. Naturally, when you serve her, your mom, your dad, your teachers, your elders, people around you, when you take care of them, their duas are going to come out of their heart. And this is one of those moments.
yeah, absolutely. But like Haji Abdul Rahman used to say, like Rahmatullah used to say, दिन में लोगों के सामने बिछ जाओ और रात में अल्लाह के सामने अपने आप को बिछाओ. You know, like he said,
Mm,
in the
say it.
daytime, "Wakhfid janahaka." In the daytime, lower yourself and spread yourself out to comfort people. Like, lower yourself, humble yourself in front of people during the day, and then at night, humble yourself in front of Allah
Wait
subhanahu
a
wa
minute, wait a minute. Whose clothes are you wearing right now?
ta'ala. I'm wearing yours.
Man, mashallah, you make my clothes look good. I
You
just
told me,
noticed. I
you
just
told me,
noticed. I was like, what are you wearing?
yo, you just stole my train of thoughts, but I'm wearing your clothes, yes.
Yeah, it's okay. You can wear them. I'll charge you later. But reality is that that's the key. But why do I like this story?
Why?
Tell me. You guess.
The in-laws.
No. The in-law is part of it.
Okay.
Just taking one more guess.
Wife, marriage.
Yeah. You know,
Okay.
it's nice saucy discussion. The no one, like, this is where Musa alayhi salam hits the jackpot. He makes that dua, everything gets solved. He's poor, he's alone, he's no support, he's away from his community, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses him with the daughter of a prophet, of Yaqub, of Shuaib alayhi salam. And it's a lot of times we go places, young people, they ask us, like, what dua to make. I said, keep your eyes open, right? Keep your eyes open, keep looking, like, for the right person. but also like it's important that we have realistic standards. Like what we're looking for. We have looking for a pious partner. We have to be pious ourselves, and looking for someone that's just not a good husband or good wife, but also a good father and a good mother. That's the next generation that we're going to raise. And what could be better than for Prophet Musa than receiving the daughter of another prophet, Shuaib alayhi salam. And of course, in this case, it was the daughter who was very intelligent. She was very modest, and she said, "Ihdahuma ya abat istajir." Oh, my dad, like, please hire this person. She didn't say, "Let me marry this person." And then she says to the dad, "Inna khayra man istajarta al-qawiyul amin, qawiyul amin." The best person you can hire, the best employee, because you have a hard time with employees, because you do have one person who's your one few employees, they're very talented people. God help them, you know. And I don't. Sometimes it's an employee, sometimes it's an employer. Most problems.
In my case, it's the employer. My employee is good.
Yeah, mashallah. So you have the one of the best things you can get in an employee is al qawi. Someone qawi doesn't mean physically strong, but also intelligently strong,
Mhm.
capable. Qawi always, never always only means strong physically. It means sharp. It means talented. It means it has ability. Kind of Ali radiallahu anhu, shadidul quwa. He was like his faculties were very sharp. He could remember what he was supposed to do 4 weeks ago and have it done on time. Like we have lists in front of us and we forget what we're doing today.
Yep.
So he was al qawi and he was amin. Sometimes you get people who are very talented, but you don't get them honest. And to have two things together in an employee or in an employee and any person, strong talent and honest,
Yeah.
because I think it's harder to find an honest person than a competent person.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
spoke about this a long time ago. Like you can teach someone hard work, you can teach someone the art, but you can't teach honesty. You can't teach integrity. You can
Yeah.
teach someone how to shoot, but you can't teach competitive spirit.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, you can teach someone like jump shot, but if someone doesn't have it, he doesn't
Yeah.
have it. So you
Exactly.
can you can teach someone like the skill of coding and stuff, but if within them they don't have loyalty and honesty, integrity, those are qualities that are hard to find. So if you find someone like that, teach them the art. But if you find someone with the art but doesn't have that, it's better you stay away from that.
Wow.
In marriage,
That's amazing.
marriage is the same thing. It's the same thing in marriage. It's the same thing with relationships. It's the same with everything. That's why you have to be. Today we're too caught up in these external. Nowadays qualities are
Yeah, he
defined.
didn't he didn't say like he is like he's rich or good looking and he has
Nothing to do
from a
with that.
good family. Like he didn't look just like external qualities, but there was an internal quality and external element of it because you want to be around someone who's loyal. May Allah make us all loyal
I
to
mean,
everyone. Of course, people make mistakes,
absolutely.
and job they make mistakes, at work they make mistakes, in relationships they make mistakes. At every level, people make mistakes. Parents make mistakes within children. And it is also the big-heartedness of people to overlook people's mistakes because
Absolutely.
there'll be a time that you may need them and you made a mistake. Now they have to forgive you. So you do have like al-qawiyul amin, like Musa alayhi salam. He was someone. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Qallama yujadu fi akhir zaman." Especially when it comes to work, the two things will be very difficult to find: dirham min halal, halal earning, or akhun yuthaqu bi, someone that you can rely on. There are millions of people, thousands of people with a lot of money in their banks, but they don't know where to invest it. You
Mhm.
can't trust the banks. Look what's happening now. You can't trust the people because every time you put money with someone, they misuse it. They say this happened. So it's really important is, but it's really important that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us tawfiq to find good people and be good people. Then now, Shuaib alayhi salam,
John,
yeah.
so this is a good question right here. So I'm not sure if something's wrong with your camera or lighting, or half your face is light and half is dark. Do you have like a sticker on your camera? Check it. Check it.
No, no, it's just natural light.
No, half. Check.
No, I got no sticker.
Because half. It's not just you. It's okay. Khalas. You're not glitching, so it's all good. No big deal.
How about now?
Now it's fine. I
Yeah,
think something else.
maybe if I step back, the noor of my face will be not as strong.
So, but then that's beautiful. So the first point of the story is, it's someone said it's a reflection of the blind. That's what it is. That's what it does. So the first point, first take away from the story is like, make sure you earn your du'as, right? Like Musa Sam earned his du'a. So when he finally was, one is to like, when Mecca and Medina, it's when you get tired, it's hard to make du'as. Like you get tired doing tawaf, you get tired, you just get tired. When you're fresh, it's easier. But that du'a, when you're tired and you fatigue yourself, man, that's like straight from your lips into the acceptance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, honestly. So that's one thing. Memorize this dua. Second thing you mentioned, Bajan, is beautiful. Like look at the qualities you're looking for in a person. Al-Qawiyul Amin. Let's
Yeah.
move on to the next now. Allah gives everyone different things. Musa Islam was not given money, right? He was not given, at that point, he was not given money. He was given these natural qualities. So Allah gives different things to different people. And Allah and everything that you have is a test to see what you're going to do with it, right? And it's a ni'mah. So there's two, ni'mah and a test. We already spoke about that. Rabbi inni lima anzalta ilayya min khayrin faqir. So there's another person now. The opposite of Musa alayhi salam, right, is Qarun. So let's go to that verse and see. I want to tell you four different things that you're supposed to do when you get tested with something. Allah gives you.
Mm.
Allah gives you whatever gift Allah is giving you. These are four different ways that you're supposed to respond to that. All right.
Wow.
So here's the anti-role model that's mentioned at the end of Surah Qasas. Qarun. Now Qarun was from the people of Musa Islam. He was a person who had accepted Islam and he saw the miracles and everything. Allah says, وَآتَيْنَهُ مِنَ الْكُنُوزِ مَا إِنَّ مَفَاتِحَ. Allah said we gave him so much wealth that Allah speaks about the keys that opened up his treasures and not even the wealth. لَتَنُوءُ بِالْعُصْبَةِ أُلْقُوَّةِ إِذْ قَالَ لَهُ قَوْمُهُ لَا تَفْرَحْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْفَرِحِينَ. Don't be arrogant, all right? Don't be arrogant, and Allah does not like arrogant people. Now, the next verse number 77. وَابْتَغِ فِيمَا آتَاكَ اللَّهُ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ. Whatever Allah has given you, whatever quality Allah has given you, whatever gift Allah has given you, the first responsibility of yours to that gift is to seek akhirah before anything else.
Wow.
Allah has given you money. Before you can think of seeking, building a home for yourself in this world, see how much of it you have put away for a home in akhirah.
Wow.
Before you can think of building your future in this world, think of your future after you pass away. So what the first responsibility of yours from the gift, whatever gift that is, okay? If it's money, it's money. If it's time, it's time. Allah is giving you so much time. So how can I use my time as a gift that I have to put some time away, invest it in a way where I'll get akhirah with it. So
Wow.
change your thought process, this thought process of now and then later, but no, for us it's later and then now, right? It's future comes first because our life starts after we leave this world. So وَابْتَغِي فِي مَا آتَاكَ اللَّهُ دَارَ الْآخِرَةَ. That's the first thing. Whatever, and don't look at the other person. Everyone has been given different blessings. But then if you look at Ashra Mubashara, some of them were wealthy, some of them were poor, some of them were unknown, right? Some of them were unknown. It don't have to be a popular known personality to become the guaranteed. So just the compilation of the 10 guaranteed Jannah, you can see that they had different qualities, different blessings. But each one of them, the one common quality between all of them was they used what they had to attain akhirah, right?
Yeah.
Whatever.
And the ones that didn't have didn't look at the ones that had and wish they had also.
No.
Like even like it's possible you can be very much richer than me. Like Allah made you a billionaire, and I'm just average person, and it's not that I'm a lot of time when you sit with people, if an average person sits with a wealthy person, they start to like look at their blessings with an eye of envy. They come to their homes and they look at their cars and look at their clothes and look at their closets, look at their watches. Just say alhamdulillah, mashallah for what they have. Tabarakallah, God blessed you with something. It's like this is the way Allah deals with people. نحن قسمنا بينهم معيشتهم في الحياة الدنيا. And then the rich and the wealthy should also think that these people who don't have, but inshallah they have deen and they have the other aspects of deen and the good that they have, like Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu who had knowledge early, he didn't have wealth, And there's Abu Dhar al-Ghifari who was simple, but he had so many other qualities. Bilal bin Rabah had so many other personalities and qualities. And looking at them and say, subhanAllah, these might be the people who entered Jannah 500 years before me. I was in Pakistan we were driving with my kids, and you could look out the window when the kids will go to the school and come back. You see the visible state of the country around Lahore, there's so much poverty. Even if you go into a rich community, but you got to cross the public. You see people, how they're living, how they're dressing. They're laying on the street. There's riding donkeys, mules, selling things on the street. So you look at this and you say, wow. And the kids notice that there's a lot of poverty, a lot of difficulty, a lot of people who they don't have the same affluency that people in America have to a certain extent. And I say to my kids, if these people have iman, inshallah they do, because majority of the country is Muslim. So subhanAllah, the minute these people leave this world, inshallah, the Prophet ﷺ said, يَدْخُلُ الْفُقَرَاء قَبْلَ الْأَغْنِيَاء بِخَمْسَمِيَةَ عَامٍ الْجَنَّةِ أو كما قال. The poor people enter Jannah 500 years before the rich people. Now, the rich people shouldn't feel like they're walking into Jannah late. There's ways to make it to Jannah early too. But why was initially the Prophet ﷺ is saying this to make people who are blessed, to make them understand that these people didn't miss out in akhirah, so you shouldn't miss out either. Like, don't think you're better than them.
It's like in this world, who gets to board first on the flight? The ones who have more money, right?
Yeah.
It's like yourself. And the economy guys are all in the back and getting the ones who have less, they get the last seating and everything.
Yeah, I like some of the international airlines. They start off at the back of the plane first, the zone E or something, and they start off with the back zones, and I'm like, oh man, I feel special.
Next to the restroom, but in akhirah it's different. So exactly what you mentioned, like the Sahaba who were giving wealth, right? They were looking at the Sahaba who were in the masjid, envying them. Like, I wish I had more time to sit with the Prophet ﷺ, right? I wish I had more time to sit in the masjid. And the ones who were in the masjid were looking at the ones who were giving wealth. MashaAllah, Allah has given them.
I have so many stories about my flights and my experiences. If I share them online, people will start judging me.
Don't share them.
Yeah, it's just people. I just want to know if these people are judgmental. If they aren't, maybe I can share some secrets and some confessions.
They're not judgmental, but they love you already.
Go ahead. Finish this last point you were making.
So he says, first is وَابْتَغِي فِي مَا آتَاكَ اللَّهُ دَارُ الْآخِرَةِ. Whatever Allah has given you, whatever gift Allah has given you, first thing you should think of is, how can I make my akhirah with it? وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. And also, don't forget your portion in this world. SubhanAllah, like, okay, use some of it for yourself in this world too. Don't forget your portion. وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. So don't forget your portion for your children, for your family, for yourself. Allah wants, وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. Allah wants you to also enjoy in this world, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But it's not world first and akhirah second. It's akhirah first and then dunya second. It's not like, I give the example before. It's like going to the restaurant and getting food, right? And you order food for you 5 people. You're sitting there, you order food, and then there's some leftovers on the plate, and the leftovers, you tell the waiter, hey, can you get this? Can you pack this to go? And then you take whatever's left over, you get it packed to go, and you bring that for your wife and your mom. That's one way of bringing food home. The other way of bringing food home is that you sit down and you order food for yourself, and you also order at the beginning, you also order food for your mother or your wife and say, could you please have that for takeaway? So it's not leftover. You did it at the beginning. You had already portioned already. What is more respectful? What's more honorable? If you keep bringing leftover food for your wife, but I'm not sure what's going to happen with you. You can't do that.
If I bring in fresh food for my wife, I don't know what's going to happen with me.
He's like, why'd you take me?
Yeah,
So if you bring leftover food, it's not honorable. It's like you took it. What's more honorable and respectful? That you take it, you separate it beforehand. So similarly, Allah has given you time. Separate. Don't give you just your leftover bacha huwa waqt for Allah. Leftover bacha huwa money for Allah. Actually separate it ahead of time. Distribute it before time. And don't forget your nasib in dunya. So first,
it's important you forget your nasib in dunya, because like you said, if you have made the mentality to make your akhirah, your dunya will become akhirah. That's the key. Like, a lot of times people do a separation between dunya and akhirah. Like, this going to work it's materialistic. A lot of young friends ask me, like, Shaykh Abdullah, we feel like we're missing out in teaching and learning and doing the service of deen and stuff like that. I was like, guys, just make the right intention, make a lot of money, and donate it to Miftah. It's all good. or to your local community.
Exactly. I mean, so that's what it is. So the second option, we have to go through the next ones quickly. And the third is وَأَحْسَنْ كَمَا أَحْسَنَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْكَ. We already spoke about this yesterday. And be kind. وَأَحْسَنْ. So you felt kindness from Allah. So now you know how that feels. So be kind to others.
Wow.
You felt ihsan from Allah, even though you don't deserve it. You know that. Because you look in the mirror, you know how much sins you have, and you don't deserve the place you're in this world. Wallahi, if anyone feels like they deserve what they have from Allah, that's scary. So Allah is doing ihsan upon us. And
Yeah.
وَهَلْ جَزَاءُ الْإِحْسَانِ إِلَّا الْإِحْسَانِ. Allah is muhsin with us. So now we felt Allah's ihsan. So they're saying to Qarun, you felt the ihsan of Allah, that you're a good businessman, anything you touch becomes gold. And that's not just this is ihsan of Allah. So since you felt it, share that ihsan with others. So the third thing, وَلَا تَبْغِ الْفَسَادَ فِي الْأَرْضِ, and don't use your authority or your money or your status to create corruption in this earth. Usually the people who have the most authority, the most wealth, they're the ones creating the most drama. So don't create drama. Be the humble.
They're controlling the narrative of how to put people down, and
Whether it's in the masjid, whether it's wherever it is, don't do that.
politics.
Politics. Don't create drama. Don't get involved in these politics. In the
Not very often you find the poor people involved in the masjid board.
because they can't do it, right?
Can influence people.
Exactly. So don't try to influence people in a negative, corrupt way. So, but these are the four things that are mentioned about when Allah gives you a gift. Have the mindset of these four things, and inshallah, if you have this mindset that you whatever gift Allah has given you, you respond to that gift with these four channels. Inshallah, that gift will be a source of your elevation in dunya and akhirah.
That's beautiful. Can you repeat those four things one more time?
وَابْتَغِي فِيمَا آتَاكَ اللَّهُ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ. First, think of akhirah. Whatever gift Allah has given you, think of akhirah first. وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. And then think of your dunya. Just switch it around and don't forget your nasib in dunya. وَأَحْسِنْ كَمَا أَحْسَنَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْكَ. And you felt kindness of Allah. Now make other feel the kindness that Allah has shown towards you. And
Share the good. Share the good.
Share that kindness. وَلَا تَبْغِ الْفَسَادَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. And don't use your authority to create corruption and cause corruption on this earth. Allah does not love those who are corrupt.
That's beautiful, Mufti Saab. I know you did tell me before we started, when we were going over the notes, you wanted to talk about the people of Lot.
We'll talk about tomorrow now. It's 35 minutes already.
The people called people of Lot.
Yeah, we'll talk about it tomorrow.
There's a lot of things I want to talk about them.
Well, Allah, we can talk. We should talk. We have to talk about it. It's 35 minutes already.
But what was wrong with people of Lot?
But John, can we talk about it tomorrow?
They didn't like women. I can't believe that. How can a man not like women? That's like this is innately problematic. This is problem. Like Allah.
You should be a professor and teach complex ideas because you can break it down right now. Go,
no, because Allah says, "Zuyin." How can you not like hubbu shahwati min an-nisa wal bani? How can you not like your children? Wal qanatir. Nisa. One of the first thing Allah says, Allah made women beautiful, right? Yeah. And these people, they don't like women.
Hey, listen, I don't think anyone got straight to the point like you did, right? That's it.
No, like, bro, how can you not like when when someone tells me they don't like women, I'm like, I don't know what to do. Look up or down. Like, which way do I look? Like, what can you like? Subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put attraction in women for marriage, to have family.
Other way around too, Bajan.
Men are not super attractive, but they do have some attraction, But like, how can you be attracted to a man over a woman for a male, And this is where the problem is, because there's just so much same-sex marriage going on all around relationships, and our children are seeing this, and I feel like I don't know where the problem is. I think it's liberals. It could be the far left people, the far right people, the extremists. It doesn't matter. The storm is coming. The storm is coming. Okay.
Here.
Storm is already here. We have to protect our family. We have to make, we can't make women feel like don't raise your boys as like women are like some objects. Obviously, you can't objectify them. Respect them. And
all right, got it. Big problem.
Big problem.
Wallahi, people know your terminologies now, but you're it, man. Big problem.
It's a big problem because if we don't have enough guys marry girls, whose children am I going to teach? My job is on the line. Like, I'm not going to. There won't be no procreation, man. I'm just going to be teaching like robots. Like, here's my kid. There's a robot, but like, this is really dangerous, and I think it needs to be discussed. And we're not here Of course, people who have the same sex tendencies, right? Like they attract to the same gender. I don't think it's some of it could be like the natural aspect from the
Can I can I
hormonal.
can I can I interrupt you for a second, Bajan? If you allow me to.
Yeah,
May Allah bless you for being straightforward and people that are commenting about this. Wallah, you're right. Like I feel really bad for the story. I feel really bad for Lut al-Islam himself, right?
yeah,
Because people like hardly we find that scholars and are talking about Lut al-Islam and his nation and people. No, be straightforward. I mean, Lut al-Islam was a great prophet of Allah.
yeah.
Living in living in the blessed land of Beit al-Maqdis in that area. He was a blessed person of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Unfortunately, he was sent to a people that had Sheikh worried about Miftah Institute. No, we're not.
No, no.
Listen. If you don't know Sheikh Abdullah and us, we can care less about that.
No, no, no. I think we're not. Freedom of speech is very important. We should be able to freedom. This is America. The Constitution gives us freedom of speech. Go ahead. Go ahead.
why do you have to why do you have to say that for like that?
Because like we're not here for people's donations to appease people. And there's apologetic Islam that we Muslims like everybody. We like everybody, but the reality is like we don't. We love everybody, but if you do something wrong, that's wrong. Like if you see me drinking while I'm fasting, is that a sin?
Of
It's a
course.
sin. Is it offending to me that you tell me that I can't eat or drink while I'm fasting? I can feel offended. I feel offended. But the reality is there's a movement that's approving something that is like against human norm.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Okay, I was saying this. All right. So on one hand, إنكم لتأتون الفاحشة, verse number 28 in Surah Ankabut. ما سبقكم بها من أحد من العالمين. Like you are going towards such immodest, indecent behavior, and Lut al-Islam is saying, my people, like no one has done this before me. Look at the words of Lut al-Islam. أليس منكم رجل رشيد? Like, isn't there anyone that has an intellect? هؤلاء بناتي هن أطهر لكم فاتقوا الله ولا تخزوني في ضيفي. Like he's saying, look, I'll give you my daughters. Like he's saying to people who are so messed up, just so they could stop sinning. They're so messed up. He said, listen, please take my daughters. I'll
Man,
marry them.
man,
But
I,
don't
I
disgrace
could
me.
be the guy who wasn't like from that community. He must be a lucky guy because he had so many women to marry. Mashallah. Like,
But then you keep messing up the narrative, bro.
sorry,
I,
go ahead.
I get what you're saying. I get what
Like
you're
I always see it from the other side. The other angle, which is the angle of piety.
Yeah, no. Look, Bajan. So that's one thing. So let me say this. What was the problem of Bani Israel? Um, what was the problem of Bani Israel? The problem of Bani Israel was not that they were doing haram things, but they were making haram things permissible. They were justifying their impermissible acts, and that was becoming a يستحلون ما حرم الله, right? يستحلون ما حرم الله. So now we have a set of sins. Okay, this is a sin that's mentioned in the Quran, like drinking, fornication, lying, and homosexuality. These are sins. All right. And I'll get to the other part.
How about the reform? We got to be the reformist.
But Jen, stop. Let me just be serious for a minute, okay?
Okay.
All right. So these are sins. Now, if someone is drinking, if you're sitting here reforming Islam, trying to justify, oh, if you have this much alcohol, that much alcohol, if you have this, Habibi, you know what? Listen, at the end of the day, Allah's gonna tell you, "Iqra kitabak." Like read your own book, man. Like كفى بنفسك اليوم عليك حسيبا.
That's spiritual blackmailing, sir.
Okay, let me finish. Because you started. Let me finish. All right. So don't do that. Don't justify your haram. Don't try to find reasoning within Islam to justify that what you're doing is right. Right? That's not right. Because if you do that, then you will never have the opportunity to tawbah. Because Allah is saying in the Quran that قُلْ هَلْ نُنَبِّئُكُم بِالْأَخْسَرِينَ أَعْمَالًا. Like, should I tell you about the worst of people? They're the ones who their bad deeds was beautified for them. They thought it's okay, so they can't do tawbah from it. So that's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, on the other side, people say, well, don't be so harsh. Habibi, it is something from Islam. Never hate the sinner, but hate the sin.
Mm.
Today we're being told we have to have love and care and compassion.
Oh
For
yeah,
everyone.
I love everybody.
You have to, because how can
Mhm.
you? Umar ibn Khattab, who was a friend of his was an alcoholic, and
Mhm.
he's not just because he started drinking alcohol and he left his friendship. Oh, you're doing this. No, just like alcohol, this is a sin. So it's not like because he started drinking alcohol, Umar ibn Khattab stopped thinking about him. No, he wrote a letter to him. He's making dua for him. So in part of our in Sharia, we can never hate the sinner, but
Yeah.
we can always hate the sin because that sin is hated by Allah. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us love for that things that Allah loves, and give us dislike وَكَرِّهْ الْكُفْرَ وَالْفُسُوقَ وَالْعِصْيَانَ, and
Yeah.
make us dislike that stuff that which Allah doesn't like. So let me finish, Bajan.
Yeah.
So the society today is making us no, you still no, you have to also like that. It's fine, it's normal. No, in Islam, it's not normal to like haram. It's not normal. It's normal to love good things, and it's normal to detest, just like how it's normal to stay like detest and be kind of stay away from and disgusted by spoiled food. The same feeling we should have when it comes to
Pork,
sins.
pork. Muslims, you
How
get pork on your pizza right away, like, oh my God, put this pork
Yeah.
away.
So because of that, now we're like, oh no, no. But at the same time, when we're talking about that discussion, it doesn't mean that people who have these feelings and are doing these things, sins, we write them off from our community. That's completely wrong as well. We have to help them. We have
Yeah.
to help each other.
I love helping those people.
Okay. All right,
Yeah.
Wajan. I think
You
I'm
know,
done.
the one last thing I want to say, I got to go. We all have to go for iftar. The last thing I want to say, brothers and sisters, is that if somebody has these feelings, where they're attracted to the same gender, that's not a sin. That's not a sin.
If you just
But
have the feelings.
acting upon the feeling is a sin.
Yeah.
Applying it, sharing it. Similarly, like there are a lot of guys who have a lot of feelings. They don't act upon it. Matter of fact, they don't even talk about it. That's why they're lucky. People have feelings all the time. You got feelings? I got feelings. There's so many times someone gets me angry. I have feelings. I got anger, but I don't act upon it. So many times I get hungry. We have feelings, but we don't follow the temptations. So the feelings are normal. Sometimes the shaitan will test you in different ways. Sometimes people's weakness is anger. Sometimes it's same gender. Sometimes opposite gender. Like sometimes it's money. Sometimes it's poverty. Everything can be a test. And so it's important that the whole life is a test, and we have to fight our nafs. And when we overcome this situation, then inshallah it will become easy. But it's not easy. Like I have over 10 to 15 cases of people who are struggling with their gender every single month. Okay, and I'm an expert on homosexuality.
So all right,
And
Wajan,
I feel comfortable talking to them, answering to them.
helping them.
Imagine a father called me and said his daughter was lesbian.
Okay.
What is the dad going through? Mufti Sahib, you don't know because you don't deal with this kind of stuff. You're dealing with people who are reading Quran the wrong way. You fix it. People who can't praise. You deal with people who want to pay zakat and like the real the next level, next tier. But when you're on the ground doing the hard work, boots on the ground stuff like me, when you're working in the different communities, Mufti Sahib, there are people that call and they're like, imagine a father calling. This is the case. The daughter is like this. Like, what do you do now? I have gone to places where people want to accept Islam, and both girls are girlfriends, but they're lesbians and they want to accept Islam. What are you going to do now? So these are things that we have to solve. We have to work with. We have to bring them closer to Islam, bring them the true deen, and we can't compromise and we can't water it down.
We can
And
water it down.
we do not spread hate. The whole thing is have sympathy, have empathy, love for people who struggle. Just imagine your own child struggling. How would you look at them? You wouldn't hate them. You wouldn't show animosity against them. You would work with them. Some people become so aggressive and they start to like become very phobic. Like they become homophobic, which is like, I hate everyone like this is not the language of the Prophet ﷺ, where he hated people. It is Allah's choice when he wants to punish someone, when he wants to forgive someone. We're not God. And Allah is merciful. He always wants to forgive when there's an option to forgive someone when they repent.
Islam is the best religion, best, most encompassing religion and deen, and the Prophet's seerah is the most. All the answers are in the seerah of the Prophet. We just don't know it enough. But there were people far worse than this. The Prophet dealt with them. The Sahaba dealt with them. And
Yeah.
Allah, who is Ghafur Rahim, is going to be dealing with them till the end, till the day of judgment. Imagine, we're talking about people saying Allah has a ma ahadun asbara ala adan sami'ahu min ahadin.
There's nothing worse than shirk. 100%.
Allah is controlling the heavens and the earth. And the Prophet is saying there's no one more tolerant than Allah. People are saying Allah has a son, Allah has daughters, but Allah continues to forgive them and continues to bless them.
This is where people, the audience needs to be a little bit careful, because when scholars like Mufti Abdul Rahman just said this, we're not being sympathetic to the sin. Don't get us wrong. We're just saying that we have to be sympathetic to humans.
Yeah.
Yes.
And while in the process of being sympathetic to humans, we're not going to water down anything. And at the end of the day, Bajan, we should help ourselves. Don't be naive. Watch out for what shows they're watching, what schools they're going to, what books our children, our brothers and sisters are reading. Don't be so naive, you know.
I think you have open conversations with your kids. My kid one day asked me on the way to Target, I was getting my daughter a gift. Hassan asked me, Dad, so why don't we celebrate birthdays? You know, I'm like, just the Prophet had 63 birthdays, never celebrated one. He had 7 children, none of them got cakes. I'm not saying it's haram, but I'm just saying, like, I want to stay closer to the Prophet's tradition. So he's like, so you're telling me it's not sunnah? I said, that would be pretty accurate. It's not sunnah. And then my son says something very strange. He says, well, there's a lot of sunnahs that we don't practice.
Yeah, exactly. So have a discussion.
Last thing. So then the way back from
Target, bro, eat. We gotta go.
I'm gonna eat this discussion right now. The last thing that he says to me is like, Dad, what is gaming? And then he's like, if you don't tell me the real answer, I'm gonna ask Alexa.
Oh my God.
Like, the Microsoft Alexa. And I'm like, bro, their kids are finding out things themselves. So it's better that we educate them before they find out from their friends.
What a heavy discussion today. Inshallah, if you have to carry something on tomorrow, but Jazakallah for bringing it up in a nice way. I appreciate everyone staying in touch with us.
This discussion always gets me rattled. Gotta go, guys.
Assalamu alaikum.